Coach Ed Orgeron was down on the coast as we were. We were telling about talking about it last segment. Orgeron, you had to know it because everybody who was on social media this weekend saw Coach O jogging around Destin. He's with us every week here on Off the Bench. Players going to be back in the building, so a lot to get to with LSU head football coach Ed Orgeron right here on Off the Bench this morning. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. We're doing great. We're excited for the players to come back. They're excited. We're looking forward to it. A lot of great things going on. We had a great Memorial Day weekend, and everything is going well this summer.
You know, last week we talked to you if you ever thought you would get to a point where the governor would be using you to be the voice and the face of the coronavirus message, if you'd be getting calls from the president. How about just taking a friendly jog on a vacation and that thing just blowing up, man?
The power of LSU. You know, I went down to Destin and with Parker and Cody. We had a great time. I was going on a jog, and I said, you know what? I may meet a few people that know me, but there was a lot of Louisiana people there, and I was just fired up to see everybody. And I took a picture with every Tiger fan I could. It was wonderful.
Coach, I was down in Orange Beach this weekend on the coast as well, and you and I were talking a little bit about the vacations. LSU's everywhere. I mean, the power of the brand, as you speak of, is very powerful. But when you look around, I mean, there are flags and LSU, the colors all along the Gulf Coast of this country right now.
I was so proud to see the Tiger family out and about. You know, it was the first weekend we could really get out and see everybody still so fired up about our football team and LSU and making Louisiana and all our fans so proud. That's what it's all about.
Coach, I know I'm fired up. And it's kind of crazy because we've been so quarantined until you look down, it's May 27th. And players, you know, voluntary activities can start June 8th, according to what the SEC said the other day. Fill in the people listening. What are the plans right now with the football team, with the athletes going forward over the summer?
Yeah, we're going to report. The guys are going to travel in June 1st. We're going to have a team meeting June 2nd. We're going to, and Shelley's going to do a great job. In fact, tonight, we meet with everybody on the protocol on how we got to operate when we get back. We're talking to the parents. We're talking to everybody. Shelley has done a tremendous job, her and Jack, of making sure all the guys are going to be safe. We're going to spend the whole next week just testing everybody, teaching everybody the things, that the protocol that we have to go through. And then on June 8th, they're going to start working out with Tommy Moffitt. Now, they can only volunteer to work out in the weight room, and obviously the conditioning and the weight workout, getting ready for the season, is the most important thing, the health and the working out. And all they can do is June, as far as I know right now, is volunteer to work out in the weight room. So we're going to monitor them. We're going to feed them. We're going to work out and get them in shape. I don't know what the rules are going to be in July. We're going to find out. I think this is an ongoing thing, and we're going to find out what we can do in July. But I'm excited to see our team, and I'm excited to get them back and get them at the weight room with Tommy and get them running out there in the heat.
Coach Ed Orgeron joining us here off the bench, driven and powered by All-Star Toyota, ESPN, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Alexandria. You mentioned one of the first orders of business is having a team meeting with the 2020 group. We've talked so much about turning the page from 2019. Can you take us into that room, and what would the message be to this group when you first see them?
Yeah, obviously, their health when we see them and following the protocol and doing the right thing. And I'm going to have Shelley talk to them. I have Jack talk to them. I have Tommy talk to them, things that we're going to do. The message is going to be, as I told them when we got back from spring ball, last season, this is a new team. And, but there's going to be great opportunities. The expectations are high. The LSU standard of performance will be met, and everybody's going to have their opportunity. And I'm proud of them, and I'm proud of the coaches for working on Zoom meetings, guys working out on their own, guys doing their academics. I do believe that they protected the team. I haven't heard of any incident off the field since we've been going, so I'm proud of those guys for that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? Y'all put so much emphasis on character, and now with so much responsibility on those players to do the right thing, like that maybe that'll pay even more dividends. I want to talk about defensive line, Coach. I know Jordy's going to pick your brain on the wide receiver group, but we were talking about it when you took over to where you are now, just from a pure numbers standpoint. you have grown that defensive line room a ton, right? So I guess kind of like we did the O-line, right? You want to go down the line, position by position, who's in the mix, who's impressive, who's battling for playing time.
Yeah, T-Bob, I'm looking at the board right now. We're 4 deep.
Wow.
On the deep line across the board. And, you got to start about transitioning from the 4 to the 4-3. And I think we only had 3 practices, but Andre Anthony at left end is starting right now, him and TK. And Ali Gay, a junior college player, who's 6'6", 260 pounds. Those 3 guys look very well. Travis Moore is there, and also Sony Pullman. So I have 5 guys in front of me at left end. A tackle, Glenn Logan coming back, Neil Farrell. And a guy I'm really excited about is Jacqueline Roy right there from U High.
Yep.
I think Jacqueline Roy somehow, some way is going to be in the mix in the starting position in the rotation.
Wow.
Also, Eric out of Alabama, 6'4", 292, and Jarrell Cherry. This has been a good move for Jarrell Cherry. Jarrell can play tackle or end. At nose tackle, I think we have one of the best tandem in the country.
Yeah.
Tyler Shelburne had a great year last year. We got Apu Aika. And then Jacoby Guillory. I mean, one of the best nose tackles in the country coming back. Nelson Pinkins backing him up. At right end, we got Justin Thomas coming back. We got B.J. Ujulari, Philip Webb, Desmond Little. So we got a great group right there. And I think that in both schemes, this is a D-line friendly attack, hit the backfield, tackles for loss, sacks. You'll see these guys be very disruptive, and we deep enough to play a big rotation.
One of those guys that was unsung last year, Coach, was Glenn Logan. Can you talk about what you expect from him this season?
Yeah, his senior year, man. And again, he's not going to be playing that 4 technique where he's holding on the blocks. He's going to be playing that 3 technique, getting up the field, making plays. I think he had a good year last year. I expect him to have a great senior year, and his leadership is going to be critical for us.
We were talking, I don't think that there's any better representation or example of LSU being a consistent power again in college football than the defensive line being a reputable group. Talk about how important that group is to building a championship program.
Yeah, that's why we went back to 4-3. We thought we had talent. We finally got the guys that we think that could represent playing the 4-3, disruptive. I think this group is going to be a great group, and it's already helped us in recruiting. We have 4 commitments already. And we may sign 6 defensive linemen this year, maybe 7. I'll sign as many great players as we can. So the guys want to come. They want to play. Things are going well.
You lost a first-round wide receiver last season in Justin Jefferson. You had guys sign on. Stephon Sullivan was a 7th-rounder. Derek Dillon was picked up in free agency. You returned the best wide receiver in the country in Jamar Chase, and maybe the best tandem again with Terrace Marshall. There will be a big turnover with this group next season. Can you talk about the wide receivers and the expectations for that group in 2020 and beyond?
One thing about the wide receivers last year, they caught the ball. There wasn't many drop passes. And yards per catch is one of the best winning analytical stats that we can have. And those guys were tremendous in catching the football. So we got to regain that with the quarterback and the receivers. We got to regain that connection. And then some of those guys working out their own are going to be critical. But obviously, Jamar Chase, one of the best players in the nation, maybe the best player in the nation, coming back. This is a force. Terrace Marshall had a great year with us last year. Those 2 guys are going to be phenomenal. And then you look at Racing McKnight, a strong, big-time receiver. Gracie's 6'2", 223, great kid. This is his time. And the guy, obviously we got some young receivers. The guy I'm excited about is Eric Gill. Eric is not just going to be a tight end for us. We're going to use him at Z. We're going to use him at X. We're going to use him in the spot. Eric is 6'5", 250. We're going to use them sort of like they used Megatron in Detroit. Then we got some young receivers coming in. We got Alex Adams from Mississippi. We got Keyshawn Butte coming in and Corey Moore, 3 great receivers. Jontre Kirkland's backing up Jamar Chase. Trey Palmer right there from Kenwood who won the 100. We got speed. We got some guys that can play. So we got some experience there, but we also got some new guys that got to fill in. I think we're going to have another fantastic receiving corps. But as you guys say, we have to have a great year of recruiting because 2 of the best receivers in the country are going to be leaving.
Yeah, Coach. So I guess that would be the question right there. If there were any good receivers in Louisiana, which there's some good ones this year, what would be your message to them in terms of why they should come to LSU?
Yeah, look at offense. We had the most prolific offense in the history of college football. We had 5 first-round draft choices. Look at Justin Jefferson. You think about development. Think about playing the spread, playing 5 receivers. We have guys that have to come in and play us. And like I said, I think the state of Louisiana is loaded wide receiver position, and I think we're in good shape for most of the guys.
Coach Ed Orgeron joining us here, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. You mentioned the analytics, and you mentioned one of the analytical projects that you look at, or numbers that you look at as yards per catch. And you guys were fantastic at that last season, and what that does for the game. Can you explain to us when you get that stat what you're looking for?
You know, Bobby April spent many years in the NFL. Is an analyst, a consultant for us, and he does all that work for me. And obviously, yards per catch is one of the biggest stats right now in the NFL in winning games. And what happens is when you catch the football, you're gaining yards, okay, and the clock is moving. So that means the other team can't score. It's a simple fact, but one of the biggest stats in the NFL is yards per catch and winning the game. So last year, obviously, we were phenomenal at it. On the flip side, on the negativity, if you're missing the ball, the clock is not running and you're not getting yards, so the other team is going to get field position and they're going to get the clock. So it's one of the biggest things that we have to do. I think one of the things that happened 2 summers ago with Joe Burrow and those wide receivers, they had to catch 10,000 balls apiece.
Yeah.
And we got to get back to that work ethic. We got to get to the time to be able to do that. These guys understand what it takes. The best thing is they saw what it takes to have success. And the work in the summer we have is going to lead up to a successful season.
We're talking to Coach Ed Orgeron here on Off the Bench. We have a user in our huddle, Coach, who wants to ask you Derek Stingley Jr. on offense, maybe?
You know, it's a good point, and he could help us. During the recruiting process, his father and I became very close, and he says, Coach, look, I want you to promise me that he gets to learn the position of cornerback, master it. It's going to take 2 years, in his opinion. And I said, okay. And the 3rd year, he said, Coach, if you want to use him on offense, we'll talk about it. I think in the 3rd year, you may see Derek on offense. I haven't visited with him, his father, since the season. But if he wants to play, we're going to use him both ways.
Coach, last week we talked to you, and it was Florida game week. You were game planning Florida. Who's on the docket this week? How did that Florida game plan session end up?
Well, I thought our coaches did the best job last week. Obviously, the tempo was set. I was kind of in game mode on Monday morning, so a lot of people thought we were playing Saturday after the meeting on Monday morning. But I thought our guys did a great job. And now it's Mississippi State. We got Mike Leach throwing the football, so we're studying. Obviously, we're studying Washington State on offense. The defensive coordinator, who did a very good job at San Diego State, we studied his defense. So there's a lot of work to get done, and we're going to start the day on. It'll be a short week. We'll work yesterday afternoon, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday on Mississippi State.
Coach Ed Orgeron back in the office, back to work as the players will be there shortly and getting ready for the season as he joins us here on Off the Bench. Thank you as always, Coach.
All right, guys. Go Tigers.
There he is, Coach O, checking in this morning